Okay, so in this video we're going to work on the derived class, or the preferred customer class, which inherits from the customer class. And the preferred customer class only has a couple of additional pieces of information: the discount amount, the rewards points. We're also going to override the display method, which we made virtual in the base class. So I'm just going to go ahead, and here I am in the Visual Studio. I'm going to add a new class. Okay, so this is going to be the preferred customer class. Okay, so first things first, this preferred customer class is going to inherit from customers, so I have to remember to put that here. Okay, so that means inherits from. And then I'm going to, so already he hits the ground running with 3 data members, which he inherited from the base class, which would be the customer name, the address, and the email preferences. In addition to that, I'm going to add a couple of private data members. We'll do a decimal for the discount amount. And then, I think I'll refactor this while I'm thinking about it. Okay. And then also a private, how about an integer for the rewards points? So we have our private data members, our public property blocks. Again, this guy really has 5 data members because he does inherit those 3 from the base class. Okay, so I think I'll just go with some basic constructors here. I'll just start with the default constructor, which is not parameterized and has an empty body, and then I'm going to do an overload constructor, which will be a little more interesting. Now remember, this preferred customer has really 5 data members when it comes down to it. So we're going to have 5 things coming through the door. We're going to have a string for the name, okay, and a string for the address. We're going to have a Boolean for the email offers. And then the 2 we have to take care of in this that we can see in this class, which would be a decimal for the discount amount, maybe I'll call that D, and then an integer for the rewards points, which I'll call R. And then, I'm going to push this down, these first 3 are passed up to the base class constructor. So we have a shorthand way of passing those up the hierarchy, so to speak. I'll just put a colon there and put the word base. And what are we sending up in this order? The name, the address, and the email preferences. Okay. So then here in the actual preferred customer class, I can just take care of what needs to be taken care of, which would be the discount amount and then also the rewards points. So our constructors are in place. Another thing I want to mention, do you remember in the last video I made this quick switch? Not that you would do this in reality, but I made the customer name protected in the base class just to show the difference between protected and private data. So now that I'm in the derived class, I'm going to, let's say I wanted to change the customer name. I can just simply set that to, see, I have complete access to that customer name here in the child class. That's what happens when you make data protected. The child class has direct access to that data. Now contrast that with the customer address. If I try to type in cust address and try to set that, well, the compiler's complaining because it's saying it's inaccessible due to its protection level, because customer address is private, as is the email preference. So this is protected, we have full access. This is private up in the base class, and we cannot access him. Okay, we would have to go through the property blocks just like everybody else. Okay, and if you don't need direct access to that data, then keep it private. Keep it private. So you know what, I think I'll change that back to private. Okay. So we have the constructors in place. Now the last thing to do here is to override the virtual display method. Again, We have the display method. We've got some good code here, which we're going to reuse, but we also want to add some things and tailor it to the preferred customer. So I'm going to go down here, okay, and we're going to say public override, okay. Again, we'll return a string here, and this is going to be the display method, okay. Okay. So, you know, it automatically filled in this return the base display, and that's great. That's going to execute the display method and print out the customer name and the customer address. There's no sense in recreating the wheel there. So I am going to keep that, but I also am going to append to this, maybe I'll drop down to the next line. I'm going to append to that the discount amount, so we'll do something similar to what we did in the previous method in the base class, the discount amount, and then I'll append to that the actual value that's in the discount amount. And then I think I'll also do, oh, you know what, we'll do that new line break thing as well. So that's return, carriage return in the new line escape sequence. And then also the rewards points that will display in this class as well. Okay. You know, I think just so I don't get burned on this, I'm gonna, that should be okay. I think I'm going to slap a toString on this just in case. Okay. Those are numeric types, so if we're going to concatenate them, we may want a toString on that. Okay, so I guess that's good for this class. In the next video, we are going to go to the form and create some objects based on our classes, both customer objects and preferred customer objects.